Hello everyone, Oregon Moto John. I'm excited to put a rear rack on this. The CRF 300L is a great bike, but it doesn't come with anything back here, at least the L model from the factory. And I'm just going to add a camel holder back here. I got the kind of the smaller one, which is all I wanted, just something I could put some fuel on or a little pack on there. There's lots of holds. This is really thick metal, so it's going to be pretty sturdy, and it's going to attach, I believe, to these four mounting points. So let's get started. I've got it laid out over here in the way I think it will go. So it looks like it's just a matter of taking and these three holes, 1, 2, 3, look like they're just going to go here. 1, 2, 3. Be sure you have the countersunk one side up, because that's where the screws are going to go. See how they're countersunk for these countersunk screws. I'm going to put a little blue Loctite on there to help hold them in, and we'll do that on the other bracket. And then it looks to me like it's just going to easily bolt right on. I think they gave us some other things to use to screw that on to the side of the motorcycle. So let's get started. So just to lay this out, these longer mounts are going to go to the front with this washer on the outside and the spacer on the inside, and the shorter bolt is going to go to the back of this mount. So we're actually going to mount these pieces on the bike first loosely, and then we're going to put this on the top, and should be very easy. So let's go on over to the bike. And this is, I believe, a 6mm Allen. Yep, that's right. So we're just gonna take and remove all of these. And there's a little collar in here for the seat, so just be aware of that. But we're gonna remove all 4 of these. So these collars will pull out of here. That's for holding on the seat. Make sure that stays in. I put a dab of grease on just so that holds in a little better. That's going to be retained, and then this one also pulled out. There's a little bushing here. Those will be retained, so if those fall out, put them back in. Like I said, you can put a little dab of grease on them to hold them in. And then we're going to fit half the rack up. This is 1/2, and this would actually be the right side here. And we'll be putting a front bolt in with the bushing and a rear bolt in. And the bushing will go under the rack, spacing the rack away from the bike, with the washer on the outside against the rack. So let's go ahead and do that now. Just loosely though. So here is this started. You just have to wiggle these a little bit to get them started in the threads. And you have the washer on the outside, and then on the bottom side you have the bushing, the short bushing at the back, and the longer, wider bushing at the front. And that's how and we'll do the same thing to the other side. And just for clarification, not only do you have the longer bushing at the front, but you have the longer screw in the front and the smaller bushing and the shorter screw at the back. Here we are doing the same thing to the other side, tightening up the front mounting bolt, just loosely though, and then the back one. Washer on the outside, shim underneath, shorter shim in the back, wider shim and longer screw in the front. And then I'm just lightly tightening this down so that we can put the rack on and get all the screws lined up. So just loosely snugging this up. Shout out to Camel Products. I've had them on my KTM 890, a number of their products. Their customer service is awesome. Their products are solid. They don't cheap out. They may not be the cheapest product, but in my opinion, they're one of the best. So we've kept these slightly loose. Okay, now it's just a matter of setting the cargo rack on top. And we have the little place where the holes are beveled so the screws will go in flat. And we're just going to line that up. And using a 4mm hex or Allen handled wrench. And 4mm, we're just going to put these in and snug these up in each of the 6 positions. So we'll go ahead and run those in right now. So here I've got a couple in, and you'll put one here, 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 and here. I'm just putting them in lightly snug, and then I'll go around and snug them all up. And then lastly, we'll tighten these last 4 bolts down, and that's it. Then we can strap things on there. And I like it. It's low profile. Doesn't take up a lot of space. It doesn't look bad. And I just like now that I can throw fuel or a tool bag on there. I mean, this has a tool container here. Probably make use of that first. But I was thinking mainly fuel. Since this holds 2.2 gallons, if I throw a soft pack of fuel back there, or you could do a Rotopax back there, then hey, you could carry 3 gallons with this bike. Will go a long ways. And we got all these lightly snugged up now. Actually, I'm just finish it off, just going around lightly snugging these up to where they bottom out. Not really tightening them down very tight right now. Just kind of going around, getting them all bottomed out. You could do a star pattern if you want to, but it's not like it's an engine, so it doesn't really matter. So now I'm going to go around and switch positions and go for something like this where I can get a little more leverage. And we're just snugging these all up. Yeah, I really like the Camel products. They're well built, and I am not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form. This is just solid. I haven't tightened down these last 4 bolts yet, but their customer service is really excellent. I've called them on occasion to ask questions and emailed them, and they were always really good. And I like that this isn't huge, and it's good. This is good solid steel, appears to me. It's thick. I don't know what the gauge is on it, but it is not going to bend. It is thick. You could put stuff on there and feel good about it. Okay, now we're just going to tighten down on these here. And yeah, they're going to make them snug, but I'm not going to go crazy tight. But we're definitely gonna get them snug. They were snug to begin with. I remember when I broke them loose, they were hard to break loose. So they were tight. And this is going together just fine. I like to tighten things down little by little. I mean, probably a little bit overkill sometimes. Okay, that felt good. Now, I'm just gonna go around and really snug these down. I'm gonna switch to a ratchet, you know, now. And again, not so I can use crazy force, but sometimes it's easier to gauge what you're doing with that. And be careful with the ratchet. You can strip some stuff out, so just be aware of that. I'm not gonna go crazy tight. I'm actually using just a few fingers here so I don't get too much leverage going. Nothing ruins a job more when you strip something. When it bottoms out, you just stop. You need to keep going. Now I feel how these fasteners are. They're kind of, it'll take a lot to snug them. I might even stick with this other handle here if I were going to do it again. Because if you weren't careful, you could overdo a good thing with that. So I'm going to stop there. I'm actually going to go back to this, see how it feels. Okay, yep, that feels good. Okay, and that is it. Now this is ready for you know, whatever you'd want to put on there. Okay, so here it is installed. I like how it looks. This is a very low profile solution. It looks good. It doesn't detract from the bike. I mean, that's how it looks from the side. Here's the other side. For me, this is going to be just perfect. Gives me the ability to carry tools, food, water, fuel, and make sure you save your old bolts. I usually just put them in a Ziploc baggie and throw them in a bin for takeoff parts. Yeah, this is a nice alternative. Yeah, this is strong. I mean, I'm yanking on that. It's not going anywhere. And then if you did need to remove it, it's just, you wouldn't need to take off these screws. You just remove these and it would pull off really easy. So very, very nice product. I like it. and I recommend it. So have a great day. Hope this was useful for someone out there, and just keep riding. So just some extra tips. If you want to remove your rear bolts, it won't work on the front one, but on the rear one you can take out the Camel Supply bolts and put the original OEM Honda bolts back in. There's enough thread. They give you an extra tie down point, which I like. I like tie down points when I'm using stuff like this. I mean, and this has some here and all along here. But you know what? I did that. Camel said you could do that. I thought it's a good idea, so I put them in. To get the seat off, it's just a matter of removing these front 2 bolts, which you had to remove from the factory anyway. Removing this spacer, and then removing the one little shim that's always been there under the spacer. And then you can just loosen this bolt, and then this whole thing will tip up. You don't need to remove this. And then you would remove the rear seat just as you always would have. So just a little point on removing the seat, how that would work. And also you can retain these factory bolts if you want to, but it won't work on the front, so there isn't enough threads. If you're inclined to do so, like and subscribe. We'll be doing handlebars on here, just something with a slighter higher rise. So we'll be doing that. Got a few other projects planned for this bike, and I'll be sure and keep people updated, do oil change, those kinds of things. So just try to find things that'll be useful for people. Might do something with the headlight. I know some people do a 450 swap headlight, but I might look into putting a Cyclops bulb in there. I put that on one of my bikes, and that was really easy. You just pop out the old bulb and put in a higher output LED light in there, and that preserves the factory headlight and stuff. So I like the look of it, and you got the increased light output, so I might look into that as well. All right, thanks for watching.